Hello, everybody. This is Ed K. Smith, co-host of the Asset Show, here with the other co-host, Mr. Rob K. How are you, Rob?
Good, mate. Yourself?
I'm fantastic. Very, very, very good. Thank you. And this lovely lady in the shop with us is Tracey Plowman from Bamboo App. She is the COO, which is Chief Operating Officer. I just learned that yesterday. I didn't really, but that's what it is. And she's also the co-host of a fantastic podcast called the Crypto Curious Podcast. Welcome, Trace. How are you?
Very, very happy to be here. I know it took us a couple of goes to get this organised, but we're here. We're chatting. So
that is all good. Now, and would you prefer?
Sorry, Ed. I nearly met you last weekend, Trace, at the Australian Crypto Convention, but you were so busy. I just got to wave, and then I had to keep walking because there were so many people lined up at the Bamboo App stall.
Oh, it was, but what a good show. How good was it? And I did see you wave and go past, Rob. So it's good to actually be able to have some one-on-one time to chat now. But yeah, what a good show. How good was it?
It was really good.
It was exceptionally good for the first one. I think Dave did a great job pulling it all together. I mean, I was exhausted just being there thinking of what it took to put that together. Yeah. Obviously, he didn't do it by himself. He had his team of people helping him, but still, it's a big job putting on something that size. There's so many moving parts to it. So well done, Mr. Haslop, for putting that together.
All the speakers the 3 speaker tents were like packed out.
Yeah.
All the stalls had people there. And at 7 a.m. or something, you got up, Ed, on the Gold Coast, and you went and lined up or something, and there was like nearly 4,000 people there. And
I wasn't that stupid. I got there at 9, but let's.
Oh, 9, there you go.
Let's settle down.
See, I was still at time.
Yeah. I got there at 9 o'clock on the opening day. I thought I've got to get there.
Back at the hotel, I was going, "What's it like?" And he's like, "There's a massive line," and I said, "Well, save me a spot in the line, then."
And I didn't. I sat down and talked to a few guys, and I spoke to what's his face from Finder. So,
yeah, Fred.
Fred.
Oh, hey! Well, if you managed to chat to Fred for a while, that would have been time well spent.
Yeah, I know Fred was a rock star. There were all these like 20-year-olds lining up to chat with him. It was pretty fun.
He's been on the podcast before, so he's a bit of a legend. So he saw me, I saw him. I said, Fred. He was actually the first person I spoke to.
He's a crazy cat, isn't he?
At the show, yeah, he's a bit of a dude. So g'day, Fred. If you're watching this by some miracle.
But look, again, I have to say that Dave did such an amazing job of that. And you did just touch on the fact that there were some lines to get in. And I think that was probably the only small complaint that I heard throughout that whole weekend. And you know what? There's lines everywhere you go. Every festival, every show ever, there's going to be lines. And that's because people were just chomping at the bit to get in. But other than that, outstanding show. All the retail people that came through, had a great time. And I think all the exhibitors there, doubly good time as well.
They were great.
People that I wanted to see that I hadn't been able to connect with in real life. I had a ball, I had no voice left for a couple of days after. I've got to take my hats off to them. Looking forward to it. I'm sure you guys will be along next year. I think it's Melbourne now. They announced,
Melbourne, in November.
Yeah.
Bigger and better.
If he got 4,000 on the Gold Coast, I don't know. I'm quietly estimating maybe 6,000-7,000 in Melbourne in a year's time. Let's see. And we might be at the start of the bull market too, which will.
God, I bloody hope so.
The only thing I'm disappointed in with the whole thing, and Tracy, you were the one that clued me in on this and told me the story. I think it was day 2, might have been day 1. I can't remember now. Apparently, there are a couple of guys out in the concourse that had a dust up, had a bit of a punch up because they hadn't seen each other for years, and one of them had owed the other one money, and they got into it in the concourse, giving each other a good old slamming. And I said, "Damn,
wow,
that was
I missed it."
I know.
I used to work in security at the casino here in Perth for years, and I missed that sort of scene. I used to go and break that stuff up, so I probably wouldn't have been able to help myself. I probably would have stepped in and clocked one in the face. I'm only kidding. Of course, probably Dave doesn't want us talking about fights at his conference.
No, it was outside.
It attracts people. It was outside. It wasn't actually in the display, but I'm disappointed I missed it.
Who knows what was it about? You know, was it fiat? Was it crypto? Well, let's, you know, who knows? Who knows
Yeah,
what it was about?
because who would fight about crypto?
I'm just joking around, but the guy was probably saying, I'm still going to give you it in crypto that we agreed on. And the guy's going, it's only worth 1/10 of what it was worth.
Probably. Anyway, all right, we've really gone off the rails already. We've only just started talking. So okay, let's go back to the start, because Tracy obviously wasn't involved in crypto for her whole life because it hasn't been around that long. So at some point,
let's not go back too far.
No, we won't go back too far, but at some point you decided, hey, this is a great idea. I'm going to start a cryptocurrency app for onboarding people into the crypto space in a dollar cost averaging style, easy to do way. What were you doing before that thought entered your head? What were you running a business? Were you working in a job? What were you doing?
Look, I've taken lots of U-turns in my career. I'm one of those people that, you know, whatever I do 100%. I'm full steam ahead. I'm doing, you know, whatever I'm doing 50 hours a week. I'm right in there. And, you know, crypto, I stumbled across crypto very late 2017, finished up a contract, and some friends said, come along and, you know, work with us. We're starting up a digital fund. So this was Digital Capital Management, which was one of the first digital funds in Australia. So some friends of mine from school were starting that up. And that was my first kind of look at digital currencies. And for me, it was certainly not something that I understood from a, you know, brand and marketing background. This and no real financial knowledge under my belt. It was certainly not something that I understood straight away at all, you know, and then it took me a long time to get my head around it. And in particular in Perth, trying to market and do PR with this kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't something that was easy to explain. And for me to get my head around at the beginning, it was really hard. But the excitement in the group of guys at the time, I'll tell you right now, they're making some good coin, you know, that, and that also attracted to me as well. I was like, hey, look at what these guys are doing here. Look at the money that they're making. But the excitement attracted me as well. And then when I scratched the surface and started to understand, okay, what is Bitcoin? What is Ethereum? What are all these other coins? What exactly is going on here? And I tell you what, it took so many conversations for me to understand. And it took so many, you know, I was asking so many questions, but I had good teachers. These guys were really good at, you know, listening to me, you know, asking a million different questions. But I kind of, you know, had that twinkle in my eye, and I kind of started to understand what it was all about. And I suppose I kind of, at the time, the gains were definitely there. I could see that they were making a lot of money, and I could see the excitement. So that probably did attract me straight away. But then I understood where it was coming from, and I could see the kind of the ethos and the story behind it and Satoshi and what was going on. But that was probably secondary. So it was me working with the fund that got me in there. So that was where it all started.
Yep. And
with that fund, there was a lot of different ICOs, because you got to remember what was happening in 2018.
Yeah.
This was really the Wild West. You know, there was so many different things happening. And there was a lot of, you know, I dare say that 99% of what was happening back then isn't around right now. There were a lot of, you know, were you guys looking in the space back then?
Yeah.
Okay. So
space
in the space in Perth in particular.
Yeah, we were only a handful of, if you were into it as well, end of 2017 is when I was looking at it, and I wish I'd gone harder, of course, at that point, but we were all watching what was going on, and then, of course, it exploded. But do you know what I found from that period of time, which you might have probably been interested in as well? I started realizing that it was a new way of saving.
Yeah.
But if you're putting money in crypto and watching it go up, especially if hopefully you're at the beginning of a bull market when you put money in crypto, I realized, and a lot of people were talking about it on Twitter at the time, that this is the new forced way of saving, because you don't want to touch the money. You'd rather eat noodles than take the money out
Yes, I think it took me a little while to work that out. It took me a little bit of time because, honest to God, for me, I think I realized then I'm a degen, because I was like, let's jump in this, let's try this, jump in. I was all over this because I really got excited about what was happening, and it took me a bit of time and some people a lot smarter than me to go, hey, don't just hear about this and get excited and jump into it. Understand what the project is about. And if you understand it and believe in it, then it's worth popping a bit of money.
Yeah, and is there real utility? Otherwise, it's just a
real
pyramid
utility
scheme thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it took me a good amount of time till I understood what this was all about, what this market meant, what is a market cycle, what are these exchange? Because it took me a long time to get my head around an exchange, working out order books,
just getting your money into the blockchain
and again,
right?
From someone like me who didn't understand traditional markets, let alone, this wild west of crypto. So then I went down the rabbit hole completely. And at night times I taught myself how to trade, and I was really watching every YouTube clip there was. And it's not like it is now 5 years later where there's so many different podcasts and YouTube clips. There was probably a handful of people that I actually liked and trusted. So you could actually really kind of take on board as much as you could every night. There was, so I really went down the rabbit hole and learned as much as I could. And then I think, like I said, there was a lot of projects coming, through our desks that we could look at. And then Bamboo popped up, and it was a Perth startup, and the team had done just the most amazing job building the app. And it was around about that time that we looked at this that I personally my head had really clicked in. I understood this space. I understood what Bitcoin was really doing, and trying to be this decentralized finance, trying to be the future of money. I understood it now, and I really felt like I was ingrained, and it was the future, and I could see where it was going. But I really could see that me trying to tell the mums and dads at school about it just was falling flat, and I couldn't articulate it, and it was too hard. And a lot of the time,
I don't think anyone could have around that time. Everyone thought it was basically like tulip mania, and it was going to come crashing down.
I was getting laughed every time I tried to talk. Oh, here comes Tracy with her crazy crypto stories. So I couldn't articulate it well, and my want for trying was waning. But
yeah,
and especially because we'd gone into, at that point, it was the bear market was looming. But Bamboo, and I knew then that I wasn't putting my money into I'd lost a bit, and I wasn't putting my money into anything that I didn't understand or could see a future in or had real utility. And the Bamboo app for me was just exactly what I needed, because I could see that people didn't understand order books on exchanges. And at that point, KYCing took days. You couldn't, it took a long time. You had to hold your picture up. You had to do all that. It took a long time. And sometimes it didn't work. You had to go through the process again. So onboarding was extremely hard. Again, and you had all these coins you didn't know. So for me, the idea that it was just Bitcoin and Ethereum, you could onboard within a couple of minutes, and you had skin in the game, and it was tied to a bank account, and it was micro savings. And I did at that point know about Acorns and Raise and that whole, because we are very similar. It's the same ethos or principle as my Acorns or Raise, which is, very well known in the US, and, a lot of, I probably would say 1 in 5 Australians would understand or know of Raise, the app here. But again, that's the share market. And so it's very similar. So I knew that this would work well. And I knew one day when things did take off that an app like Bamboo would be the one to help it into the mainstream. So as the fund, got behind this app, and we funded the app as a startup and got it where it needed to get to. But unfortunately, just as we'd done that and put all of our efforts behind it, and I put my marketing effort behind it, and we really fell into a harsh crypto winter. And, for lack of a better word, the arse fell out of it,
There's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter how good a marketer you are. If you're hitting a bear market, no one wants to be involved.
Yeah, and how hard things hit then, and it really
did. Basically, we're here again.
Yeah, we're here again. But back then, it was really bar lease. It was all hands off. Nothing was getting built out, and unfortunately, the founding teams, they kind of went off to their other jobs. We ran out of money, and they just couldn't commercialize it, unfortunately. But, they had built an exceptional app. And, we barely had to change anything as far as the aesthetics went as well. But there was an opportunity then not long after for a few of us within the fund to jump in there and when a leadership change happened to take over. So we did that a little over 2 years ago, and we took over. Cool. And yes, timing was a little bit right then. We kind of sat on things, and we took the app from 2,000 users to where it's at now to almost 30,000, which has been. Oh, wow. Yeah, which has been great. We had a really good push through the last, because you really do need to push these things when the momentum's high.
Oh yeah.
That's where it's all about. And then our big focus was moving into the US as well. So we've just launched there into 12 states and beta testing, but that will sit and kind of simmer there as we wait for the market to pick up as well. But the last 2 years, the response has been phenomenal to take it from that 2 to 30,000 users that we've got now. To really push and have a look at that product market fit, get the ambassadors on that we've got. We're actually about to release and talk about a new ambassador that we're bringing on. Should I do a bit of a scoop here now? But he's a very well-known Australian cricketer. But that's all I can say. That's all I can say.
Oh,
but,
yeah,
that'll happen very soon. But it's probably a bit too much of a scoop.
I know who it is.
Really?
I think I might as well, because me and Ed are friends with an Australian cricketer who we got into crypto, to be honest.
I reckon it's him.
Yeah, really? Me too. We won't say his name, but it was probably him. And you know what? He lives in Queensland.
Really? Well, this one does not live
maybe. I wanted to talk about it.
Is he from Perth?
No, he's not.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, hey, look, I don't want to be the spoil sport, but I got to say this now before I forget that this is not financial advice. Do your own research.
No, none of this is financial advice.
No, so
all your money into NFTs. No.
Yeah, no. It's but seriously, do your own research.
Do your own research. And you know what? That we should actually say that before we go on. That's what, to me, in those early days, it was do your own research, and all I did was research, and made my own decisions, because that was probably my biggest mistake in the early days, listening to what this person said and that person said and putting a little bit here, put a little bit there, until I worked out that I would have been better off if I'd dollar cost averaged in the same amount of money each week from the word go. And that's why the app, to me, I think I said this to you when I spoke to you last time, if I'd literally dollar cost averaged in, on my payday or once a month since I got in late 2017 till now, I would have been better off.
Most people, 95% of people.
Right. Investing in crypto to me is the same as, or is comparable to being a parent. You know how everyone's got advice for you on how to raise your kids, and you don't listen and you do it yourself. Same with everyone's got advice on what you should invest and not do in crypto. You have to actually do it yourself and learn by trial and error to realize, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same when I started trading, not that I'm trading anymore, but when I did, someone said to me, learn everything you can, do the courses, and then watch for a year. Then start. And I did that. I learned and I watched and did the fake trading accounts. Then I was like, right, I'm not going to have a big loss. I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to set my own markers. I was adamant that I wasn't going to have a big, massive big wipeout. You have to go through though. You have to go through those markets.
It's the only, there are no shortcuts. No. I want to read something off the Bamboo website. And this is, I think, is an excellent little summary of what the tool product is.
Well, can I bring it up? Do you mind if I bring it up, Ed?
No, bring it up. And then I'll read it off here. It says, the trusted investment app that links with your bank account, making tiny investments into crypto and precious metals whenever you spend money. We make investing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, gold, and silver standard, so simple you'll wish you'd started sooner, as we were just saying. And I think this is where most people make the mistake. They think they can be traders, and they can't. Well, I'm not saying they can't, but it takes many, many, many hundreds of hours of training, looking at how it all works, following different things, learning the charting and trading tools, and even those guys
really
get it wrong.
I think it's 97% of traders fail. It's 3% of traders that actually make money. So it's not.
And they must get a bit lucky too, because
it's not a great stat. But the figures about dollar cost averaging as a strategy, not just for crypto, but for any, for any kind of investing, is the best strategy, proven over time, averaging into the market. Because when you think about it, you've got to time that market, twice to get in at the right time and to get out at the right time. It's just so hard. So with Bamboo, and you see there that we've mentioned gold and silver, and you'd be surprised how many people actually, put a bit of their portfolio mix to gold and silver. And that's there as a hedge as well, because obviously at the moment, we all hope that one day, Bitcoin is not so correlated with the stock market, but at the moment, we see that it is very correlated with the S&P, but one day we hope it's not that way. So we have gold and silver there as a hedge, because people do want to have that option. And like I said, you'd be surprised how many people do have that in their portfolio.
Well, I think that gives the investor, I guess they're still called investors as your clients, because they're technically they're investing, using their own research, of course, and timing. If they feel like through your app, I guess I'm just making this up, if they're in Bitcoin and Ethereum, if they think that it's going to go down, maybe inside your app, are you saying they can just pull it out and go into gold and silver for a while?
Well, they can have an option. At the moment, your portfolio mix, you might have 50% Bitcoin, 25% gold, 25% silver. So you might have that as your split. But something that we do have coming, so it's a little way off yet, is we're going to put a stable option. So that's a bit, but some of our users know that that's coming, but we do want to have that option if people want to move to a stable coin and back. So
I think that's pretty cool. I think that's what would tip me over into using this myself, Get Bamboo, because I'm actually a pretty educated trader at this point. I don't win all the time, but I'd also like to use this Get Bamboo thing myself if I had the ability to be able to sit on the bench, as I call it sometimes, where you sit in stable coin.
But you know what? We were talking to a lot of people at, a lot of people we come across that were like, oh, we use Bamboo. I think I've still got the app, but it's just running in the background because, we kind of call ourselves, I hate saying a gateway drug, for lack of a better word, but we're kind of that first step into crypto. And as I mentioned, I have actually now got a lot of my friends and family and, other mums and dads that through school who, eventually, I've spoken to, and they understand the principles around how Bamboo works, and they can see that it's an easy way for them to invest, and down the track, they feel like they've got their foot in the door. They feel like they have, through Bamboo app, they go, right, I have got a bit of crypto. I've got a little bit of Bitcoin, Ethereum. It's working in the background for me. But then as they see a little bit more on the news, they hear something a little bit different, and they hear about Solana, and they want to buy an NFT, or they hear about, Atom, Cosmos, and they do a bit more research, and they say, Trace, actually, I think I want to buy some of this. I've done some research, and, a Filecoin might be the future of, whatever they want to do. Then they go and, that's up to them to go and get a BTC Markets or a SwiftX or Binance account.
Or MetaMask.
Or MetaMask. And I'm happy to teach. I'm happy to walk them through how to get a MetaMask and do something decentralized. But if they want to go do, an exchange, that's on them to go and do that themselves.
Well, that's probably the second step, right? So Bamboo is kind of like the first step, where they're like, wow, I'm investing in. They can go around to people and say, I'm investing a little bit each week into crypto.
Exactly, and they can do. But then what I'm saying as well is that a lot of people then just kind of keep Bamboo going in the background. It's just like their little investing tool, and they've got that little bit of extra cash that they've just kind of got happening there. That's the
savings, right? And if people believe that Bitcoin's going to go to 100,000 US, and I do, it's a matter of time. And if people believe that Ethereum's going to go to 10,000 US, who cares how long it takes, right?
Exactly.
If you're putting a bid into this Bamboo, there's going to, in 2 years or in 5 years, who knows when, it's going to be worth like 5 to 10 times more. I don't know,
exactly. And I think that one thing that we've got an issue with here, but even more greatly in the US, is an issue with savings. I think there's some really startling facts, especially in the US, that show, something like 82% of people don't have enough savings to live for the next 2 months over there. The debt in America is staggering. So if we can put something out there that shows people how to save and how to get used to doing that, then I think that that's a really positive thing. And I think that's the mentality that the app's getting you into as well.
Honestly, at this point where we're at now, I don't believe we're at the bottom, and I'm not giving financial advice. This is my own personal opinion. Now is the smart time to be using something like Bamboo, because if we're not at the bottom, and if there's a bit more to go, who cares? Like it's going to come back to this point, even if it does hit a bottom in 3 or 6 months. So if you're, DCAing, dollar cost averaging in now into Bamboo every month for the next year or two, if we want to get technical, people are saying in terms of the last 11 years of Bitcoin, the next Bitcoin halving event, the last 4 of them have been the bottom of the market. For 11 years, the last 4 Bitcoin halvings. The next Bitcoin halving happens in April 2024. So from today until April 2024, if you're putting money in Bamboo, in theory, no one can see the future. You're basically doing forced savings into Bamboo. And then in theory, in 2025 or 2026, when everything 5 or 10 times, imagine all that money you've put in over the next 18 months, 5 timesing or 10 timesing.
Yeah. And again, you're talking forced savings, and people also, when it's those small micro amounts, they don't feel it, they don't see it. It's just kind of rounding up in the background. Yes. And I think you're right. You've touched on something, Rob, there that's really important, that right now is the time to be doing it. But that psychology around when a market is down, putting money in, it's the opposite way. When things are up, everyone's like, have I missed it? And everyone throws their money in at the top. And then when it's down, everyone's pulling their money out.
How people make their money. Now the scary time when it's risk off is when you actually pile in. I'm not saying today, but I'm saying pick your time over the next 12 to 18 months. This is the time.
Absolutely. And can I tell you something that we're really proud of here at Bamboo is that we're towards the end of this month, this will be our 4th month on month where we have seen record inflows in our last 4 years.
Wow.
And
that
awesome. Shows that
some people are getting it, right?
Our users understand. So we do a lot of education with our users, and they really do understand where we are in this market cycle. We partner with the guys at Collective Shift because they're really great with their education as well. So we think our users understand where it's at right now. They know what's to come. So they're all pumping in their spare change, because we've obviously got the option there, which is what I do. And, I encourage people, which is the top up functionality. So on your payday, you top up an extra 100 or what have you. So, it'll be 4 months in a row now that we're at record inflow. And I actually had a chat with the SwiftX guys at the conference as well. And I was telling them that because I was super proud, and they're like, we're seeing the same. So, I think that Aussie users, we're really into our crypto, but we're also pretty clued up. So I think the people that are in right now, they understand what part of this market cycle that we're in. And we know, like you're saying, Rob, there's that really funny clip of Michael Saylor that's like, mortgage, sell your house, put everything in Bitcoin. Not financial advice, but we understand that now's the time that we should be getting those little bits in to reap the benefits later. And again, I keep pushing it, but this dollar cost averaging, and again, you don't put in any more than you are willing to lose, because regulation is coming. And we should touch on that, because we're talking like, that we're going to double. And, there's still, I feel that the next 12 months is all about regulation. We used to have in the last 4 years that I've been in crypto, I spent the first 2 years trying to explain what crypto was, that it really was going to be something, that it was going to be around for a while. It wasn't just a flash in the pan, and that we were dealing with FUD all the time, and China bans Bitcoin. Now I feel that, we've got the next few years, explaining that it's going to be what regulation it's going to be, because it's all going to be about central bank digital currencies. The conversation will be 100% around how the CBDCs are going to be rolling out, the narrative around what the government's telling us, because it is here to stay, but what will the regulation do to us? Because that's what the conversation will be 100% around for the next 12 months. And that's probably what's going to, you know, ride the market a little bit. And you know, that's what the narrative is going to contain.
And that will encourage people. And we've said this on several other episodes, is the regulation, the real decentralized maxi people only want everything to be decentralized and have no involvement from any outside parties or governments or businesses. And that's not reality. It's never going to be that way, in my humble opinion. And as long as the regulations aren't stifling and they're there more of as a protection for people, because obviously this is a space that people are getting ripped off left, right, and center. No different to all the normal other financial systems that have been around for the whole freaking last thousands of years.
Exactly.
To be clear,
in their Wild West days.
Yeah, exactly. So, but if all these regulations that come out actually help make people feel more comfortable and safe to get involved in investing in the whole crypto space, blockchain, whatever you want to refer it to as, then that's good for the industry. Good for companies like Bamboo, because people go, look, you know, this has regulations, we have some type of protection, and who knows what's going to come out of it all, but 100% regulation plays a key part.
Absolutely. And you know, that's exactly right. And I think people like us and exchanges, we welcome it. Like you said, it's going to make things a little bit easier for sure.
That's very, very cool. So, so Bamboo, now we mentioned earlier before we started recording, and we're not sponsored by Bamboo, just so you know, Tracy has not paid us $20,000 to come on this podcast. That's what it's worth.
I haven't used Bamboo yet, but I'm honestly thinking of signing up.
No, Rob's signing up straight after this.
Rob's signing up. Rob, before you sign up, Rob, don't.
You got a referral link for me, Ed?
No, I don't have a referral link. I'm saying we've got a discount code to get $10.
Actually, I'm going to use that discount code and get my Bitcoin, right?
We've got $10 worth, 10 Australian dollars, AU, not US, AU dollars, $10 worth. If you go and sign up as a new user to Bamboo after you watch this podcast and put in the discount code word or coupon code, whatever you want to call it, either Curious, CURIOUS, or you can put in Tracy, either one of those words. They don't have to be capitalized, do they, Trace? Just lowercase is fine. Cool. Curious or Tracy, either one will give you the $10. So there you go. You're already $10 up and you haven't even started.
There you go.
So
you're entering in the bear market, so it's only going to go up.
Yeah, that original $10 in another 10 years could be worth $10,000. Well, not financial advice.
Idea, but
slightly wishful thinking, but you never know.
Every 5 episodes, Ed and I say never listen to what we say, Ed and Rob say, because we don't know what we're talking about. That's
we'll all get together and rewatch this episode in 10 years.
Go to Bamboo. So yeah, as I say, we have no financial interest in Bamboo. We're not partners. We're not sponsored.
Greatly appreciate your support and having me
like on. The product, like Tracy. I think it is one of those things that the marketplace 100% needs. I think it's great that it's an Aussie product. And for those who have been sitting on the fence, which is probably a shitload of people who are too terrified to get involved in crypto for all the reasons we mentioned, and I consider myself to be a fairly techie guy, and man, if I didn't have Rob's help when I was getting started, and Jesus, it was hard, all the stuff to do with MetaMask. Funnily enough, MetaMask is our most popular video. How to use MetaMask is our most popular video that Rob and I have put out. It's doubled probably some of the others. So yeah, but it's still not easy to use, even with all the easiest of instructions. It's still
clunky and complicated today, which goes to show that we're still early in this crypto.
Yes. Why I think mass adoption is still a way off, because we just need those bridges to make it as easy as picking it up and downloading an app and being able to do it all. So I think we're still a ways off from that type of thing.
For people that are interested in getting into crypto in the bear market, which is what all the smart money's doing, I should actually point smartmoney.com.au to get Bamboo.
You should. And I should point cryptosavings.com.au to get Bamboo too. I might do that.
This is how you get into crypto, people. It's it's pretty simple. And then like you said, it is a gateway into crypto. It really is. And people, it's almost like a community service, because if you're not getting into crypto now, you're going to be one of those people that are getting into it.
I wish I got into crypto earlier.
Yeah.
No different to domains. You have no idea. We've been hearing this about domains. The same
Crypto
as
is not going to zero.
Yeah. And this is just it's fast and easy and safe. And then you can find your way to others after that. And if you're having any issues, hit me up. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm easy to find. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has. I'm always happy for a chat.
She is. And also, before we finish up, because we know we're getting close to the time we need to get off, as a fellow podcaster, and you can tell Trace is a pro because she's got what looks like a Rode podcaster mic. Yeah, she's got I can tell by the shape of it, the Rode podcaster there. So, and she's got the headset half on, half off, like a real professional DJ.
I like to hear.
Yeah, I know it's weird having it all on if it's getting. Anyway, we mentioned earlier that Tracy also has a podcast called Crypto Curious, the Crypto Curious podcast, available on all good places like App Store, wherever you get your podcasts, Google Play, blah, 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 Spotify, I'm assuming, places like that. I've listened to several episodes. Very, very cool. There it is. Look at that. Crypto Curious popped up. If you're listening, we've just got a screenshot of the show, where to go.
That one's just real basic. We just give you the news each week, what's happening in crypto, just the abridged version of all the talking points of what's happening each week. So out on a Monday, about 20 minutes, condensed news. Yeah, right. Have a listen. Yeah, awesome. So anything else, Rob, that you would like to ask Trace while we've got her here?
I'm sure I'd like to ask a lot more next time. Do you know what? When you're about to launch the stablecoin thing, maybe we should
come back for a chat again. Yeah, definitely. Well, you know what? When we're booming in the bull market, let's chat again then.
Yeah, and then we can say, "I told you so." Here's a link to when we first did this, and we told you all to get in.
Yeah,
we can call that the "I Told You So" podcast episode with Tracy.
So let's hope putting in $100 a week and now it would be worth.
Yeah.
We need to get a crew. We need to get some crew together and do some live stuff as well. And wait for something cool to happen and do a couple of live potties.
Oh wow, we've never done. That's scary to me.
No. Well, we're all in Perth, just so for people who haven't worked that out. Rob and I are in Perth, and Tracy's in Perth. Are the people the other guys on your podcast, are they in Perth or in different spots?
Blake's in Perth, but Craig's over in Sydney. So
I don't worry about him. Sydney people, we don't worry about. The Perth people, we're always cool, ahead of times. We just know, we know more than any of the Eastern States people will ever know, and we only give them the information we want them to have, which is why Western Australia is the greatest state in all of Australia. So we're just getting that out there.
And we let them be 2 hours ahead and make the mistakes, and then we don't make those same mistakes.
Oh my God, 3 hours as of next week.
3 hours as of next week, as I was reminded, booking a podcast with someone. Anyway, well, thanks, Trace, for coming on.
Absolute pleasure.
Thanks everyone for listening. We appreciate you tuning in to the Asset Show. If you haven't subscribed, please go on YouTube and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube or on Spotify or any other podcast place that you're listening or watching, we appreciate that very much. Okay. Thanks, gang.
Boys. See you later.
Bye for now. Have a super day. See you all later. Bye.